So as I sit here and talk about the Hall of Fame, and as I get emotional about it, it's because I'll never make the Hall of Fame. My Hall of Fame is with my 3 kids and my grandkids, the next generations, or my nephews and my nieces, because they know we're not all built the same. I took the road that not everybody takes. They call it the road less traveled. And that's what you see in the Hall of Fame in baseball and football, hockey, and all that stuff. These guys are respected. They thank their teammates. They were a good teammate. They'll do anything for the team. They're good to the press. They're respected by their coaches, the owners. Do you know what they would feel like as an owner? And, for example, Billy Wagner goes in and he played, 16 years with a bunch of teams, and he acknowledged any one of them. Why? Because they gave him a shot. They gave him a shot, and he was a winner. And that position, by the way, it's called a closer. He was a closer. And that's what I feel like I was. I was a closer. And the people I worked with, not only my employees, my teammates in the executive level, all of them are successful, and most of them left to become entrepreneurs on their own. And I feel like I was part of that, because not only did I teach them how to be a professional, like my father taught me, and my mentors, I go back, I feel the same way about the people I work with. If I could contribute towards their success, I'm all for it. Just like my kids, I'm all for it. My grandkids, I'm all for it. And a lot of it is the role model that you are. There's many times I would say, or judge people, because my expectation was very high. For a very young age, I wanted to win. But I always knew you can't do it alone. So I had the instincts to pick the right people to put them in the right position, you know what I mean, for success. And then the more successful they are, they say, oh, I could do this. I'm going to move on. So whoever achieves Hall of Fame in their life, I hope they say, LaManna was part of my success. And by the way, my Hall of Fame is in my book, and my book is called They Named You Right. It's my memoir. And I compliment all the people that got me to what I call my success, my successes. So now I'm in the car here. I couldn't take it anymore, so I record the Hall of Fame. It's really unbelievable that you could look at these kids, and these men that are now in the Hall of Fame that are, I don't know, not much more than 40s and early 50s, okay? It's just a beautiful thing when you see them. And then I remember, because when I was watching Billy Wagner's speech, what was going through my mind was my son, who was a catcher, by the way. And my son would tell me, Dad, you catch this Billy Wagner out? I'm like, no, who's Billy Wagner? I lived in Minnesota, but I was a Yankee fan, and so those were the 2 teams I was watching, And he would tell me, Dad, this guy's somebody. Pudge Rodriguez, Dad, this guy's somebody, because he was a catcher. And that's the other thing that I loved about my kids was sports, because we all kind of followed. My oldest son, he's a big tennis guy. So he informs me who the great tennis players are, like Roger Federer and Nadal and these guys, and golfers, because we played all the same sports. But see, they were teammates. So they knew, and we knew that, we may never get to the Hall of Fame with Major League Baseball, especially if you don't make it. But they made it in their other ways as parenting. They're Hall of Fame parenting people. Behind closed doors, you never know what happens. And for somebody, in a spouse especially, if you have a spouse that stuck with you all those years to achieve your passion and your dreams, and then they got kids lined up and everything, it's a beautiful thing. That's their legacy. And my legacy is I'm sharing on YouTube, because I could only write so many books, and not everybody's going to take the same road that I took. My kids aren't taking the same road, and that's okay. I just want them to be happy people. So going back to being a Hall of Fame player, I really, in my heart, believe I was a Hall of Fame teammate. I would educate people. I would encourage people. I would empower people. Because eventually you got to get out there and do it yourself. But nobody's going to remember that except what's his legacy? What was his net worth when he died? I mean, that's not what it's about. It's what you're giving back. Now, my feeling as a businessman, I really believe I was a Hall of Fame person. Because I know how many people believed in me. I could give you a few names. Carlo, Virginia, my grandfather, my uncle, Uncle Frank. Let me see here. Coach Fries, Coach Whitey. I could go on and on. You know, teachers. Mr. Murray. Mr. Murray says, Rock, you got what it takes to go to college. I'm like, no, I don't. He goes, yeah, you got it. You got it. And then my father would say, Rock, you're a diamond in the rough. For him to say that to me, I couldn't believe it. My buddy Jim at Deloitte really pushed me to be financially successful. He taught me all the ropes. Paul, another guy at 3M, Paul was behind me. Kevin was behind me. I know all the people. My employees, Mike, Magdi, Dolly, behind me all those years. Anna, recently, another Mike, Sandy, Greg. Look at. And then I meet all these other people. Ron Castleman, unbelievable. Most of these people were at least 20 years older than me. And most of them are passed on now. And I feel for them. So when I watch the Hall of Fame and their announcements, they're naming off their coaches, their parents, their grandparents, the foundation, who gave them the shot. I could have took the wrong road, just like anybody else. And then when I started saying, oh my God, I got to be responsible. I'm a role model. And when I had those 3 kids, I would tell them, listen, I got the same temptation that you got. Alcohol, drugs, and girls. It's a bad combination. Rock and roll. Love rock and roll. I love music. I love all that. Poor dancer. But listen, you put on a song in the 70s, the 80s, 90s, there's always a moment. And I watch movies, I cry. I rewatch them, I cry. It's okay to cry because it's the emotions. It's the emotions. But Hall of Fame, you only get the title when somebody says, thank you. And in my case, I've had people say to me, Rock, I want to thank you. It's even better when it's Dad. Thank you. Grandkids, they'll remember me 20 years from now. And that's why I'm on YouTube. And this is my part of my legacy. Believe me, everybody, I've achieved what I need to achieve. And yes, I'm going to say it like everybody else. Thank you, God, for this life. And to be raised in the family I was raised in. Unbelievable. And I would see how others were raised, especially in grade school and high school. It was abnormal to be in a family of 11. You know what I mean? And I would see their parents, but they always treated me with respect because I was a friend that they wanted me to hang around with because they knew I was a good guy. I was too afraid to do anything wrong. I was raised with the 10 Commandments, and I was afraid of my mother and my father. Besides God, I had great leadership, man. Great leadership, role models. I met a lot of people in business, a lot of people going through my divorce because I became very gregarious. I started to understand that you can't do anything in life alone. And God put me into these situations. And I excelled. I'm kind of a mentor to a few other young people, okay? They contact me online and they want to learn something from me. And one person recently, I really pushed them because I thought, you know what? You're complacent, man. You made your net worth at 33 years old that you want. It's not good enough, man. It's not good enough. No. A talent like you gotta do more. and you're the leader of your family, get out there and do it. And I talk like that. And you know, it's like the old school of Bobby Knight and Bill Parcells and John Gruden and all these other guys, Lou Holtz, Billy Martin, George Steinbrenner, Al Davis. Those were my idols. The guys that were saying, kick in the ass, excel. But deep down, they knew he had the grit to win and will go through that brick wall. Not everybody's got that. So when I see somebody not doing their homework, you know what I mean by doing their homework? There's a reason why you have to grow. And you got to do it through risks. You got to go through reading. You got to go through experiences, bad experiences, but you learn from that and you never do it again. And if you have kids, as a parent, don't you want your kids to say, my dad was all right? My dad was a good man. I want my kids to be proud of me. So I'm telling you, you want to be in the Hall of Fame? You got to act it. And you got to press forward and do the right thing.